Heidi and Frank show. That's a little bit LA Rocks.
Incredible.
LA Rocks, right?
So good.
Andrew Dice Clay's here with his sons Max and Dylan.
Pretty exciting. The first time played in LA.
First time ever, yeah.
You should be playing all over. I mean, you should. That's incredible.
Yeah, and every song. Thank you.
Yeah. Sit down, guys. Sit. Jeez.
Yeah, but every song has like a different vibe to it, you know. Cause you tell them what the kind of rock you always liked.
I mean, yeah. We just play what sounds good to us. I mean, we consider ourselves like a harder rock band, but it's melodic enough to be commercial, you know?
Well, we grew up, you know, my favorite band is Guns N' Roses, number one. And me and Dylan, during our childhood, we mostly listened to rock music from the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah,
so
like
that's
Slash.
Because of your dad? Or just...
You know what, my dad did introduce us to a lot of that stuff, but then we just ended up naturally getting into it on our own.
Yeah, like organically, just hearing a lot of music in
Yeah,
the
he
house.
played everything from like Sinatra to Elvis to Led Zeppelin, you know what I mean?
It's funny because that's like your music style. Like you had big band and
well, yeah,
Sinatra
you know,
and Elvis.
that's the kind of drumming I like, but I would play everything. You know, like, you know, when
What's
I would
your
have
rock and roll
when I would have
comedy
parents come over to me and tell me, you know, I try to get my kid to listen to classical music.
Yeah.
You know, like the bass. I go, well, why would you do that? How do you think you're gonna? You think you're gonna wean your kid from rap to Beethoven? What are you, an idiot? You know, you just put on music and that the music you would really like to hear.
Yeah.
And this way, organically, they hear different kinds of music.
Right.
You can't say sit down and listen to Beethoven. I hate Beethoven. You know what I mean? If I went to a Beethoven concert, I'd walk out. You know, just like going to see Kenny G. You know what I mean? Who would ever go to a Kenny G concert? Kenny G is somebody you listen to when you can't fall asleep. You know how a Kenny G concert ends with like ushers walking around going, "Okay, pal, wake up.
it's time to go home."
You know, sitting in the
stay here.
boondocks. You know what I mean? You can't force kids to learn. You know.
But you brought a rock and roll like a spirit to comedy, so it's
Well, that's my whole thing. That when I started doing comedy, you know, there are a lot of great comics, a lot of great material. But what I noticed, because of the way what I liked growing up, from Elvis to Led Zeppelin to the Beatles to Guns N' Roses, I never grew up really with stand-up. So when I would see comics, you know, on stage, my whole thing was they don't know anything about performance. As good as that material might be, they're not exciting to watch.
They got to put on a show.
Yeah, like if I was going to stay in the comedy thing, you know, building into the acting thing, I wanted to create what I would call the most exciting stand-up ever. And that's what I did, and that's what part of the special's about, because we show a lot of the arenas and the things that, you know, I did
like
everything.
Madison Square Garden.
I did the Rose Bowl with Guns N' Roses.
Wow.
It was Metallica, myself, and Guns N' Roses.
How old were
That
you?
was
Were you old enough to be able to...
2 years old.
Oh, you couldn't even appreciate it yet.
Well, you want to know something? I went back, you know, people always bring up you know, I've done over 300 arena shows, but people always bring up the only guy to ever sell out Madison Square Garden 2 times, but I actually did it 3 times, because in 2000, in the year 2000, you know, I was almost like, I don't want these kids to grow up just hearing the war stories. I want them to at least visually see something. So I went back to New York and I did the Garden again on, it was October 26, 2000. And Dylan was 6 and Max was 10. And they were able to watch like parts of it. You know, they couldn't see.
I was only allowed to see him walk out on stage.
Walk out on stage and the poems and the Mother Goose poems. And Max had to use his judgment to walk in and out of the, you know, arena part where he could watch me, because I wanted it just to plant that seed, like this is what it can be if you push yourself. You know,
was that the moment you guys realized that your dad was Andrew Dice Clay? I mean, like when you saw the arena, I mean, like the energy was like this is for real. This is not just dad in the other room.
Well, I just wanted them to see. My whole thing has always been about accomplishment, even more than comedy. Like to really do something with my life, you know. So that's what I try to teach them. You know, I got my history, but they're. You know, I always tell them, you don't walk in my shadow. You make your own roads. You know what I mean?
Right.
You get your own kinds of chicks. I might like them fat and beefy, but they might not. You know what I mean? I like them bigger than the bed that I'm sleeping with them on. You know, when I climb on a chick, I want her to have like almost like that memory blubber, 700-800 pounds. You come off, there's your handprints, your knee prints. You know.
Repeating memory free foam.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
You know where to touch her next time. You still got the print there.
She liked that. Yeah, my hands right
there. Yeah, but everybody's different. So I like them to make their own road, do their own career. I mean, it's great that we did the special as a family, but, they've been working on this. This is their thing.
That's really good.
That's awesome to have that crazy support is great. Seems like a great dad, Andrew Dice Clay. That's why I think there should be a show about that.
Well, you know what? I really don't even want to do a reality show. You know what I mean? Because
how about a podcast? You're about doing a podcast?
I don't even want to do that. Really? I'm doing now. I'm going to tour very heavily.
He's working out. He doesn't have time for anything else.
Look at him. Hell.
You want to know something?
I had no idea you were so fit.
If you would have looked at me a year and a half ago, you wouldn't say that. That was part of the process of getting ready. For the special, because when I was given Entourage, when Doug Ellen gave me Entourage, I was like, okay, I'm a 42 waist, but I had 6 months to prepare, and I know how to train, so I came down to I don't know, 38. Which was normal looking at least.
Yeah.
And then for the special, I was at 33, 34. But you put on muscle, you burn off the fat, and that's it.
Lean out.
That's it. That's how it's got. I can't walk out in front of fans with a belly out to here.
You don't want to.
That's the great thing about radio.
My wife over here, I don't want to be hearing in bed. No tummy, no tummy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Please,
you don't want to be that fat girl you were talking about.
Her first English words were no tummy.
Yeah, no tummy. You know what I mean? Because they're animals.
Now, the special that you've been talking about is going to be New Year's Eve on Showtime. It starts at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, and it's Andrew Dice Clay, Indestructible.
Indestructible.
And first stand-up special in 17 years.
I can't wait.
And it will be their #1 special probably forever. Because, you don't call yourself the king of comedy and not deliver. You know what I mean? Yeah. You come out there, you bang them right from the beginning. And
Did it feel good when you were doing it?
You know what? I was so into it, and even sitting
sometimes crowds are dead, and you're just like, my stuff was good, and they were just dead tonight.
Well, when I would sit with the director's named Scott Montoya, and we would, go to Starbucks, talk about the special, I would say, if you told me I had to do it tonight, I'm ready. Let's go, because I really prepare. I did. I was at the Riviera in Vegas. I did 28 weeks there preparing. I did another 16 weeks at the Hilton, but in smaller rooms, and, already just because of the special, now we're making a deal at the Hard Rock Casino in Vegas for the next year, which is the perfect fit for Dice because it's rock and roll stand-up, and it's a rock and roll casino.
And you'll be in one spot for a while.
Yeah, and I'm going to tour heavy. That's why I don't really have time to do a podcast type of thing.
But best stuff that you've ever done, personally, you're look at the special, you're
you know what?
I'm so
all my
proud of
specials were timely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Actually, people would say you're ahead of your time with stuff, and that's why I got in a lot of trouble. You know? But, I mean, I really hit the nail on the head with every subject, and if I did...
Do you talk about your boys? Is that part of your comedy? Being a dad?
No. I talk about getting older.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I talk about how everything's falling apart, and even those jokes I can't do here, but that's, but I want people to see it, and enjoy it that way, because the crowd, it's absolute mania. It was very reminiscent as far as the feeling in the theater. It was very reminiscent of my first special, The Dice Man Cometh, because it's this whole new generation, and what's funny is, because I do, women call it picking on them, but I'll bring up the book 50 Shades of Grey, which I call the Piglet's Bible, and I go, you know what, you girls hide from your guys. You read it in the bathroom or when your husband's at work. I go, I had my wife read it to me. Well, she was, I can't say it here. But you know what I mean? Because that's where we are today. You know what I mean? That's where they're reading books like that because, that's where it's gone. It's all internet. You know what I mean? These, girls today grew up on porn. They feel if they don't put up a naked video by the time they're 19, they're not in with things.
It is true. We were talking about the other day, and you guys are younger. I mean, you're 18.
Well,
you're
Dylan's got he's got a girlfriend.
Well, Frank and I were talking about how when we were in school, I mean, things that were a big deal to us in school, like, did you hear so-and-so, he went up her shirt? Now
how the bases have changed.
Let me tell you something. I can't give you, one joke. My opening, it's so bad. As far as doing it on the radio, I mean, you would just we'd all be banned for life from the entire block. But I mean, but it's funny because my whole thing is taking sex and making it a cartoon in your mind. That's how you make it funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not, I'm not a sexual, psychologist. I just look what animals people are and what they do to each other.
They really are.
And I go out and do a little research here and there, between wives. And,
yeah. No,
she's watching me go, what?
Yeah, she's just shaking her head
Between wives, I hope I'm the last one.
No, she is. She is.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Wow, dude.
What's your deal? You got a chick?
Yeah, I do. Yes.
Married?
We've been together 9 years. I mean, it's pretty
you bring it to the front row of a dice show, and
I got a 15-year-old daughter, though. It seems like with you, I mean, I always said I got bad karma because I have a 15-year-old daughter. She's beautiful, she's talented, she's smart, she's everything, and I'm like, guys are starting to sniff around.
Got to introduce her to Dylan.
You have the 2 boys, and so you got to live that perfect life of being Andrew Dice Clay, and then having sons as opposed to having the curse of having. How come Dice did not get a girl?
Oh, are you kidding? When it's funny when my ex-wife was pregnant with Max, I used to hang out with Mickey Rourke a lot, and he was betting with this other guy because he wanted it to be a girl. They were betting money on it. It's going to be a girl. That's what he's going to get.
But for some reason, he ended up with 2 wonderful boys, talented guys. LA Rocks. You're going to be playing the Whiskey on the 12th?
January 12th.
January 12th.
You should give the number so people could call. I mean, the room's only so big, and they're already starting to get a pretty huge following. And
definitely, it's a great place to see a legendary place to play that stage. So it's congratulations on that. But what's the website for the Whiskey?
Well, if you want to buy tickets, you could go to you could dial 310-652-4202. That's the number to the Whiskey, and you could also follow us on Twitter at LA Rocks the band.
Awesome.
You guys are awesome. You're incredible.
They're so serious about it. I love
it, though.
They were all excited last night, like 2 in the morning, we're talking around, all right, Heidi and Frank, what we got to do here.
This is huge, man. Look where we are. This is 95.5,
could you imagine,
dude.
at their age, like I go...
Having an opportunity.
Well, just to be in front of millions of people on Showtime and do shows like this, and... because I started when I was just about 21 years old. I'm going, you've already done a special.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
it's like unbelievable, but it was done so well. Scott Montoya did a great job directing it, and we're just really excited about it.
Who
really
do you
pumped.
like, Dice? Who do you like as a comic? Like, who makes you laugh?
You know what? Everybody asks me that, and I really don't follow comics. Mm-hmm. Like I told you, I really do.
Do you worry about I don't want it in my head because I don't want to steal it?
No, it's not about stealing it. It's about. Since I started, I was never really into comics.
So it was like you were a little boy, and I want to be...
I was more into rock and big personnel, from rock to movies, actors. And the reason I even started doing comedy was because I didn't want to go to acting school. I figured I would develop my skills on a comedy stage, and then the rest became history because, my stage persona developed and, blew up like crazy. So, but I just didn't get that much into comics. At all. I mean, years ago, I loved Kennison. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he was edgy. He was right. Eddie Murphy, phenomenal. Martin Lawrence, I just got to look at him and laugh. He was one of the funniest to me. You know what I mean? But, there's only one king, and he's in front of you.
That's right.
Even knows how to clean it up on the radio.
Andrew Dice Clay, Indestructible. It's going to be December 31st. That's New Year's Eve, starting at 10 p.m. on Showtime. And I'm so glad that you're back doing specials again.
I'm so glad we were able to come in here and hang out with you guys.
And LA Rocks. Let's get these guys a big deal and
follow them at The Real Dice Clay is your Twitter account, so be sure and follow them there and keep up with them. And LA Rocks. We're going to go out with a little more LA Rocks music?
You know what? Let's get the next track. Give it another track.
Yeah. When we come back, we'll play a little more LA Rocks.
Oh, okay. We're not leaving yet? All right, I'll hang.
No, you got to get the hell out of here. Man. I can't give you a whole hour.
All right, whatever you want
to do. I'm just kidding you. We'll be right back. We are Heidi and Frank.
That was just a little sample of the Heidi and Frank Show on 95.5 KLOS. To get more samples like this and hear all the fun we have, you can do that at 955KLOS.com. Now, to get the show in its entirety on demand, And if you want to watch the show, we webcast it every day. All you have to do is go to HeidiandFrank.com and become a premium package member. Do it right now.